fans watching around the world, this is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Let's get straight into the episode.
Too skitty, yeah, we heading for the sun. Shawty got my high, I ain't tripping for the funds. Yeah, I won't start, I ain't tripping, I'm a stun.
Alright y'all, today's a Monday and Mondays are for Docs. Thank you for clicking or tapping, and let's start today's spew. And guys, I'm very happy to be welcoming to the Doxcast for the very first time, Charlie Welham.
Hey, what's happening, bro? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. You good?
I'm good. Honoured to be here, bro. I'm actually blown away by your setup. It's unbelievable. Like, I don't know if the viewers can really see your setup or if they've seen it, but it's incredible.
I appreciate that, bro. Yeah, a lot of people have actually got no idea, I've noticed. Like, one by one, I'll invite mates over. Like, they haven't been over in 6 months to a year. And everyone's like, bro, what the fuck is it? Because on camera, it just looks like a shot, you know?
This is something to be really proud of. I don't know, like, if you'll ever show, like, them the true podcast setup, but it's impressive. That's what I'm going to say.
Thanks, bro. Maybe there should be, like, a little behind-the-scenes type shit.
There should be 100%, honestly. Like, you need to see this, guys. It's unbelievable.
Oh, dope, bro. Nah, much love. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah. I spoke to you on the phone and I explained I don't really want to get to know you too personally until we do the podcast. My favorite way to want a podcast. I have to bring up too, it's a Thursday. Haven't recorded on a Thursday. And, to be honest, any day through the week in a very long time. It's usually been a Saturday, Sunday thing. And I was doing a bit of research before the podcast, as I always do. And to be honest, bro, there's so much shit. So much shit I want to find out and talk to you about. Now, the first thing I would say, I did write down here before, and I was curious, how old are you? And to share with not just me, but the people listening as well, where you live now and what's with the accent do? Because you're obviously not born in this country. You know? Yeah,
that's one of the first things people usually say is like the accent, like, where are you from? And like, I'll start off by saying, obviously my name's Charlie, 25 years old. I'm from London, so I was born in London, UK, and I've lived here for about 7 years now, since I was 18. So I made the bold move to come from London, UK, out here when I was really young and like no family, no friends or anything. And yeah, man, like it's been some wild journey. Like I've got so much to talk about, like crazy journey. But yeah, when I first moved here, when I was like 18, I moved out here to play professional football, right? So I was playing high level back home in England, and I was like, I need to take that next step to becoming like that professional player that I've always wanted to be, that dream. And I'm sure, like, I don't know if you know the UK too much, but in the UK to become a professional footballer, it's like you are blessed to become a professional footballer. You know, everyone wants to become that.
Yeah, it's like, mate, it's pretty much all of UK culture I know is that they love football.
Yeah, right? We love football, you know, or soccer as like they say in Australia, you know. But
soccer.
It was a dream, and like I got the opportunity. I got called up by the Central Coast Mariners at the time in the A-League. I don't know if you know soccer too well, but
I'm not big familiar, but
it's NRL over here. Everyone loves the NRL, you know. But so they called me up and they were like, I want you to come over here. Like, we're really interested in seeing you play. So I was like, yeah, no worries. I mean, it's the other side of the world, but I'll do anything to make it happen, you know? And that's always been my mindset. I'll do anything to make it happen. And if I really want it, I'll go to those depths, you know?
Yeah.
So what I did was book the flight the next week. I worked so hard before that, and I was like, I'm going to go make that step. My family are obviously going to miss me. And turns out 7 years later, I've been home like once or twice in like 7 years.
Wow.
I honestly fell in love with this country. And it's just been amazing from there on.
Damn, that's dope, bro. Like, for starters, like for another country organization to reach out to you, were you doing any type of content, or like what was your involvement within soccer or football, however you want me to say it? Like, how do people become familiar with that kind of stuff, you know?
It all just comes down to networking, really, especially in like the higher ends you go, like networking with the right people, and mixing with the right people, your name gets thrown around, you know, and then you're going to eventually meet them. So like, yeah, just through contacts, they hit me up. I also had like a playing video of me playing back then.
Yep.
So they saw my video and they were like, yeah, we'd like to come and see you. And I did come out here. I ended up joining an MPL1 team, which is just the league below. And I played for a few more years on. But then I decided to kind of throw in the towel with it. But I learned enough from playing football, you know, and I already had my time to play, and I knew it was great. My parents would have loved to see me keep playing, but I was like, you know what? Like, the thing in life that people don't really understand is that your parents love you and they want you to do a certain thing, but it's not their life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's your life and you should go and do what you want to do. So I said to them, look, I don't want to play football anymore. I've lost my passion for it. and I'm going to go and pursue modeling. I'm going to pursue my content, start a business and go that route. And also I love to travel. So playing a professional sport, you can't really travel as much as you like, you know?
Yeah, definitely, man. Just in those couple of little things, I've put so many points I'm going to come back to. I made notes on a whole bunch of the stuff you just said as well. And 25 years old is just like myself, 25 years old. I definitely thought you were older looking at your content. I thought you could have been like 28, 29, I think.
Yeah, people think that.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, it just 25 kind of blew me away a little bit.
Yeah.
I actually work with a lad from the UK, and he's got the accent as well. He's been here for probably a similar amount of time, at least 5 or 6 years.
Yep.
And he lives in Bondi, and he's all the people that he knows, like everyone that he talks to, the girls that he picks up, to the lads he hangs out with, like they're all from England, you know, like everyone.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, why do you think so many people are moving from the UK over to Australia? Because it seems to be a pretty popular thing to be doing the last, 5-10 years.
Well, like, the simple thing is everyone always says the weather, right? It's typical, the weather. But in reality is that the UK is like overloaded with people, right? Trying to make it, trying to do a certain thing. And there's this culture over there that like, they want to see you do bad. And like, people think that in Australia it's like that. But in the UK, it really is like, no one wants to support you. So I thought, I need to take that step out of that sort of situation and remove myself from that environment and get into a place where there's more positivity, more people pushing to do great things. And I want to be in that environment where if I surround myself with people that are trying to do better, I'm bound to do better, So I'm bound to get where they're at. Like, if you surround yourself with 5 millionaires, you're going to become the sixth, right? And that's what I wanted to be, and that's what I want to do. So at the end of the day, I just wanted to be in a better environment. If you've ever been to the UK, it's just grim. It's just grim, man. Like, there's just like, I don't know, there's problems all the time. There's crime everywhere, stabbings, the lot. Yeah, it's just like nuts, man.
I've heard the crime's nuts over there. You know, we think we've got a bad problem out in Western Sydney and even a bit more inner city as well now. But like, I heard UK's bad. You can't wear watches out. Like,
no way.
Taking your shit, bro, stabbing you for it. Yeah, that's wild. Well, what's some of the biggest culture changes you've seen in the two countries you've grown up in? Like, I'd say you pretty much have grown up here too. You spent your adulthood in this country. Like you say, there's a bit more of a positive environment, but what else is, because I've never lived in any other country. I'm speaking from curiosity when I ask the question.
I'd say the biggest difference is like, in the UK, everyone takes the piss, right? Like, you can't go down the street without someone saying something like this and that. Like, oh, yeah, are you doing your hair, mate? There. Someone's someone's always taking the piss. You play in a football team, there's initiations, there's banter, there's everything. Everyone's throwing stuff at you all the time. So you kind of build up this like wall of like, nothing's going to really affect you, which is great. But then you come to Australia and you might say the wrong thing to the wrong person. They get offended like really easily, which I found is a big like difference. But I don't really mind, like at the end of the day, like that's what you adapt to and that's what you sort of like get used to,
Yeah, that's crazy. Because we don't really have that even within friend groups. Like my little brother, bro, him and his friend groups are wild to each other.
Yeah,
like they fucking, bro, I can't even repeat the type of shit they say, bro. Tease the C's family members, like they're bad with each other. Like, it's crazy. But I bet it was a good character development for yourself, living over there. And coming to such a positive country because like fuck, there's nothing anyone can say to upset you.
I know, like there's nothing. I don't give a fuck. Like I honestly don't give a fuck. Like I used to care about what people thought when I made content, and now I really couldn't give a fuck. You know, like at the end of the day, like usually it's the people that are like less in life than you that are like ones that are hating, right? So like they're the ones that want to be where you're at. That's why they're like making these comments. So I couldn't really care less, like, so. But in regards to mates and stuff, like we all have banter. Like Marcus over there, he's my mate, and we all take the piss, and he gets it, all the time. He's funny.
Yeah, that's dope. I find that there's a mad quote that says hate doesn't come from above, and you can't really punch down,
Yeah.
And that's a perfect example. If people are making fun of people or throwing shade at people who are making content, like to be honest, bro, fuck them.
Yeah, just
bro. Like I'll actually want to come back to this top conversation, especially when it comes to comments and things like that on online posts. But I was curious as well, with making such a big move, especially at 18, which is awesome information to find out. What was that feeling like? You said that you had to take the risks. That shows a risk taker. That's a gangster personality trait to have.
Yeah.
But run me through like what was it like deciding to do it just before, and then once you got in, has your mindset changed since it?
I would say like the first year I moved, I actually didn't like it, right? Like, I don't know, I just was young and it takes time to build like that confidence and build that mindset of like, I don't know, going and talking to people and meeting new people, it kind of takes time, you know, like, and especially moving to the other side of the world. Like, I didn't know anyone at the time, like, not even a single friend, no family. And it just took a very long time to, like, build friendships with people, right? But at the end of the day, like, over time and over, like, practicing and just, like, getting used to it and, you know, developing that skill of just, like, talking to people and not being afraid of certain situations, I just became more comfortable and, like, just built a strong character in the way of, like, networking and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, like, it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. I would never, ever look back and regret it because I'm here where I am today and I feel like I'm doing pretty well. Obviously, there's way more, like, in the future that I can look forward to and that I'm setting my goals to hit, which we can go on further in the podcast, like the future goals.
Definitely.
But I would say, like, yeah, like, if I could recommend one thing to anyone is go overseas. Like, whether it's travel just for, like, a few weeks or anything like that, or it's, like, move overseas for a temporary period of time, just do it, honestly. It's, like, you're going to experience so much. You're going to meet people that you thought you'd never meet. You're going to see different walks of life. You're going to see the worst things. You're going to see the best things. And you're going to find out more about yourself, you know?
Yeah, that's dope, bro. That's dope. And I bet, like, because I go on holidays, I've never been a traveler.
Yeah.
I don't know if it will ever be in my personality. When it comes
Yeah.
to risk taking, for me, that's definitely fearful, you know, definitely. There's just, especially because I've grown up as an adult as well in the country I was born in, like, you start to become a bit more dependent financially and all these things too. But to make that decision at 18 is something that I feel like I have to agree on. If I had have made that decision then, I probably would have had a different personality trait or characteristic, you know. But I tell people that inside trade, you know, you start your apprenticeship inside one company, you grow comfortable, you grow familiar there. You gotta leave. You gotta jump out of your comfort zone. You gotta go somewhere else.
100%.
Like, it's fucking crazy. So you've mentioned a couple of things like, you know, content and business owner and things like this. I want to get to that. But is that what you're able to do full time yet? Because for me personally in my life, I'm trying to juggle everything and I can't do it full time yet. Is it something that you're able to do full time yet?
Not completely full time. So right now, like I said, I'm in this awkward stage of, like, trying to do content full time. I could live off, like, my content, basically. Like, I earn enough from content to live off, but I wouldn't be able to live, like, really how I want to live, you know?
Yeah.
So I still work. I still have, like, a casual job at the airport. I go to most days. I grind in the morning, do that, get that out of the way. And as soon as I get home, I film content, like, straight away. I try to smash out, like, 4 or 5 videos a day. I send the videos to my editor. She edits it for me. Recently, I hired a PA. So he's out there. He's doing the research for me for new video ideas, all these different things, and starting my online community, which is obviously helping me transition from working full-time at a job and escaping that job to getting into, like, more freedom, basically. At the end of the day, I just want to do this content because I want more freedom in my life. I want to work where I want to work and do things on my terms, you know what I mean? So right now I'm in that awkward stage, so I'm trying to break out of it, and I feel like it's very, very close. I'm at the tipping point, and I know for a fact I'm going to push past it and get there. But look, I just trying to make the most sensible decision in myself, just like you would with when you buy things and stuff like that. Like, I don't want to, like, leave myself in a situation where, like, oh damn, I've went all in on this, and then I don't think that I'm going to fail in it, but I just don't want to, like, completely risk it, you know? Like, I'm just like, just wait, wait a little bit longer.
I think that, and I've been juggling this mindset too. Like, people say if you really want something, you have to make sacrifices. And I understand that, but it doesn't mean that you have to quit your job entirely and focus on your passions or your dreams.
Yeah.
You're kind of sacrificing the free time because you're still able to do both. You know, you don't have to. Sacrifice is a word that you can use to sacrifice anything you want to sacrifice. So I just sacrifice free time. And if I want more free time later, I've got to put in more work now to make up for that free
100%.
time. And I definitely can feel the relation when it comes to that. Like, it would be nice to be able to depend on content and things like this, but then you also have to orchestrate your content in ways to make as much money as possible instead of just being able to just give up a few hours. And
100%.
You know
that's it. I mean,
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, in forms of content, I checked out your TikTok account.
Yeah.
Because we were messaging over Instagram and stuff, and that led me to your LinkedIn profile, which was, there's so much shit on there. Yeah. But the TikTok, bro, had over 420,000 people along for the journey to follow. And as soon as I seen that number, I realized it was a pretty constant conversation I've been having lately of, like, and I'll get to the question in a second, but 420,000 is such a big number for me to grasp that I don't know if I can actually imagine that, especially when you're talking about people, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
That's actually more people than live in like Canberra.
That's crazy. There's more people than in Canberra.
I think Canberra has like 350,000 or something like that. It's a lot of people, bro. So, and I'm asking from a place of curiosity. And I wrote the question down thinking, I hope this doesn't come across the wrong way, but how much value do you hold to something like that? Because it's such a big number, right? 420,000 followers. Like, and I kind of believe that I'm going to get there, you know? Like, it's going to happen to me.
You are.
I have that belief system. So just without having the understanding on what that means, like how much value is held to that, you know?
Well, personally, like, the number doesn't mean anything to me. It's more like the impact I can make on these people's lives that are watching me. Like, when I was first making content, obviously no one was following my stuff. I have screenshots you can put on your podcast of me having like 50 followers on TikTok and setting goals. And I have the journey whole documented, right? Because I wanted to plan it and be like, wow, and look back at it, right? But the actual number, like, it's quite impressive, but I don't really think about it too much. Like, at the end of the day, that's like over 400,000 people that know me and I don't know them. Like, that's kind of crazy, right?
That is crazy, right? That's wild.
That's like the Wembley Stadium 4 times. 5 times, you know, like full sold out. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. But at the end of the day, it's like what impact I can have on their life. Like, now that I've actually got the opportunity, I can actually impact someone's life, right? So what I say actually matters to them. Kind of does. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
bro,
they're watching my stuff for a reason. And so what I say has an impact on their life. So I have to make it a positive one, you know? That's why I'm starting these things like a self-improvement community. All my content's based on self-improvement, whether it be men's image, like how they look, how they feel, their confidence, all this sort of stuff is basically what I'm trying to improve in men. And I'm specifically basing my content around men because I feel like I know best about that, of course. You know what I mean? Like, I know I've been a young teen before and been insecure, been not confident, been all these things that these people who follow me might be. And I want to be basically that older brother to them or that like father figure maybe that I can teach them a few things along my journey that might help them.
Yeah, I love that. Fuck, even in that last paragraph, bro, I just put so many pins on there, little gems that I want to go deep on. Like the first thing I think, and someone mentioned this today, like in our time when we're recording this, not when everyone's watching this podcast, but an episode came out where I sat on another lad's podcast named Mario Beck. So I'll actually put a link in the description because it came out today. But he hit me with this mad quote and he said, every day we walk around as humans and we make history. We make history every day because we're a part of it. But when you post something online, you actually make the future because you're actually going to be affecting how people are going to be living for the rest of their life. So almost in a way, whether it be podcasting or TikToking or Instagram or YouTube, we're creating the future because it's actually impacting people's lives. And that was a pretty powerful statement. So to incorporate improving people's life intentionally is a pretty powerful thing to be throwing out to the universe. I want to get to the point in a minute where we talked about, where you mentioned being that young kid, you know, but that big brother mentality is something that I hold on to. It's pretty much my biggest passion if I was to find it, you know, like I remember what it was like to be a young kid as well and feel insecurity, you know, it's probably the closest word I could use to describe it. And I had positive role models and I also had people to look up to in a bit of envy, you know, like, damn, I want to be like that guy. Take us back. What age do you reckon you started to feel like that? And what age do you reckon you started to feel more confident?
Bro, like all the way through school, I would say I was like that insecure kid, you know, like I had a good friendship group around me, but I was never the popular kid, man. Like I was never that guy, you know, that, you know, all the girls would flock to or like this, but that didn't bother me. And I knew like it wasn't going to stay like that. I knew that when I hit a certain age, I'm going to change. And like, cause I had that mindset of like improvement, right? And I knew moving countries was a big stepping stone for me. And I knew that was going to be a massive thing in my life that was going to improve it, right? So like I would say around 19, 20, my confidence and my character really started developing. Around 21, 22, when I started making content and filming videos, I started hanging around different types of people who were like having a positive impact on my life. I started being a bit more like them. I also started hanging around older people, right? People way older than my age, 10 years older it could have been, right? So I'd learn things that maybe I shouldn't have known at that age, but I just knew because I was hanging around these people.
Yeah.
And I just honestly think that doing that was just a massive thing for my life and improving it. You know what I mean? Like, and just becoming that person I am today. You know, I don't know really. It's just, I would put it all down to just moving overseas. Because like when I was in England and I was growing up, I was brought up by my grandparents, right? Well, in particular, I was brought up by my nan. Shout out my nan.
Shout out. Yeah,
honestly, God bless her. Like, she did everything for me. And she's looked after me ever since I was like maybe 10 years old.
Wow.
And you know, she's doing great. And like, honestly, I wish nothing but the best for her. You know, I wish I could see her more often.
Mm-hmm.
But she brought me up. So I always had these values that were really strong because you know what grandparents are like.
Yeah.
They instill these values of like, don't misbehave, don't do this. I could have gone down a worse route, you know. My upbringing wasn't the best before then. I went through a lot. But she changed it for me. She was that figure that changed my life. Like, she is my biggest role model today, my nan. And honestly, like, I just owe everything to her. Like, she basically taught me, this is not how you talk to people. This is not what you do. You do this. You behave like this. Have manners. Be a gentleman. Have respect for people who you talk to. And she basically instilled that in me, and it made a massive difference, honestly.
Yeah, that's sick. I find that my grandparents are probably the two most influential people in my life, you know, like not just two, like I have multiple grandparents, but there's two that I share the last name of, you know, they're the ones I talk about in particular. And they often do exactly the same thing, you know, they kind of imprint intentionally how they want us to be as grandchildren. They like, I feel like when you have kids, you might just be like learning the ropes, like, fuck, how do I juggle this shit? And then by the time you have grandkids, you're like, oh, I know what I'm doing. Just, you know, you just hit it with the gems. Moving overseas would have been a massive help in that confidence point. But you mentioned that growing up too, you knew you were going to get to a certain point in which you're going to improve. And and it sounded like you had a bit of a mindset of self-improvement growing up.
Yeah.
I never really personally felt that until I probably became 22, 23, even 25. Right? I'm 25 now. Like, I'm only just learning what self-improvement means.
Yeah.
So did you believe that you were going to get to a certain point, and what helped you have that mindset to be like, oh, I know I'm going to be sweet. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm the popular kid or if I'm getting all the girls, like, I'm going to be G later. How did you get that mindset? I
would just say really because like I had this athlete background in me. Like, I just, you know, was playing football at the time. And my dad would just instill in my mindset, you know, to work hard. Same with my nan. And, you know, like when I get home from school, he'd make me run up like the hill 10 times, you know?
Yeah.
So I always had this hard working mindset and ethic, right? So I knew if I applied that to my life in the future, there's going to be change, you know? If you apply the same things that you do in sport, in the gym, in these other aspects into your life and progressively overload your life, you're going to grow, you know, you're going to become a better person day on day. And that's what I kind of did, but it just took a lot longer than I thought, you know, it just took me to move countries. I mean, I'm not saying for everyone you have to move countries for that to happen, like, and there's no time frame on this, you know, like you can't set a time frame or like when I hit 21, I want to be like this. Yeah. Like, it just happens, and it just like daily tasks then go on to you improving, you know what I mean? So like, it kind of just happened, and I was just trying to be better daily. And then sometimes it just clicked, and I just had this mindset of like, I don't give a fuck about what people think. I'm just going to do this, and it doesn't matter. Yeah,
that's dope. I never played any sport growing up, and I find that people who did, especially ones who were high-level athletes in any field, they've had this mindset for a very long time, and it makes sense because if you are constantly repeating something and you're seeing the improvement happen year by year within that thing you're doing, you kind of learn pretty quickly like, oh, this is what it takes to become great. You know, you just have to keep doing the same thing over and over again. That's something that if people don't play sport might not even ever learn. And I feel like the skills you can learn from playing a sport, whether it be a team activity or a solo endeavor like fighting or something like that, even music, you know, if you're going to go down an instrument, like you could probably apply that same logic to business. You can apply that same logic to content. Like, do you feel like in your life it made a big difference to everything else you have been doing since then?
100%. I would say the biggest thing is just progressively overloading what you do. Say you're doing something really well, right? So you're doing the gym and you're doing really well at it. And what you're doing is you're just progressively overloading what you're doing in the gym. So you're just lifting heavier weights, doing more reps, going more times a week. Just do that, but with your content, or do that with your other things in life. Like, say you want to improve your fashion, right? Just take small steps. So this week, maybe you'll try this outfit, and that week you'll try that. So then your fashion will improve. Say you're trying to improve your content. Maybe start off doing 2 videos a week. Then you can do 3 videos a week, then 4. And then you'll see so much improvement and your success rate will just go skyrocket. You know what I mean? Because like at the end of the day, you're just applying an aspect that can be applied to all walks of life, you know?
Yeah, I find that's the biggest thing I take away from people who try and preach the message of sales.
Yeah.
It's all about quantity overload in the beginning. You know, you just want to tell as many people as you can to buy my product, have as many people say why, and then try and explain it over and over and over again. And through doing that enough, then you're able to find out what works. So if you're making 100 videos a week, you see the ones that get the most traction, and then you start applying more effort towards those things. And it's so simple, bro. But it's like so many people don't learn that, especially me in my own life. It took me so long to understand that. Now, you mentioned the community you're trying to build through TikTok, right? And I'd say you have built already. Why? And you said, you know, you find fulfillment in this big brother mentality, but why do you think so many people are in need of that? Because I feel like it's something that we need a lot in the world. Like, why do you think so many people look for someone to try and get their advice from? Like, you know, when it comes to... Because I've seen your content and it's sick, bro. And I can 100% understand why people click follow. It's like, these are the best haircuts to do. And there's many different options and shit. Like, do you think people just don't... Do you think the biggest problem might be a lack of confidence?
I would say in today's society, men need brotherhood more than ever before. And if you're a woman, you're automatically born with value, right? So you don't need to do anything. You're a woman. Like, you're born with that value of being a woman. Guys will already want to talk to you, this and that, no matter who you are, what you look like. Yeah. That might be a bit controversial thing to say, but I truly believe that's the case. When you're a man, you're born with zero value. You have no value. You need to make that value. So you need to start, you're starting at zero, right? And you need to get to like that guy that's valuable, that, you know, the man that can do all these things. But that just takes time. And like at the end of the day, there's a lot of guys out there that are in this situation where they're feeling insecure. They can't talk to, let's say, women. They can't talk to other guys. And they just don't know where to start, right? So the best thing I can possibly do with my platform is to help these guys out, right? And by helping them out, we're doing like weekly calls. So I set up like a group call where everyone jumps in. They can ask questions with me. I can give them direct answers on the spot all over the world, which is amazing. And then within this thing, I can basically add in like modules. So right now I've got like week 1 all the way to week 10. I've got modules starting off with confidence, then going into like image, then going into like how to talk to women, fitness, all these things. So each week has about 10 modules in it. And I filmed basically 20-minute videos on all these things to help this guy like at home in front of his computer who doesn't want to talk to anyone now go from this guy to becoming a confident man, going up to any woman he wants to talk to, making new friends, and just becoming a way more confident guy. So I could actually change someone's life.
Damn, bro. That's sick. That's so sick. All right. Oh, yeah. Can we like touch base on all these little different parts of the module? Very curious. So what was the first couple modules you mentioned?
So week number 1 is improving confidence.
Yep.
Then we've got week 2 is about self-image. So just improving your looks, like maybe your haircut, your fashion, all these things that, you know, based on what you look like. Week number 3, I think, is body language secrets. I can't go through all of them. I can't remember off by heart all of them, but like it's basically touches base on every single aspect of a man that you can possibly improve to go from the guy with no value to the guy with so much value.
Damn. Okay. And is this something that's already started or something that's about to start?
So I've only just started it. It's been open for about a week or 2 now.
Yep.
And it's already doing well. We've got 50 members in there.
Damn.
My goal is to eventually get around in the free community about 500 people.
Yeah.
That would be amazing to reach.
Yeah.
But yeah, just we're taking baby steps right now. We're just, you know, we'll go for 50, then we'll try to get 100. And the more the better, you know, because in this community, there's like sections where you can write down things like, hey guys, like, I don't know how to do this. Can you help me? And then all the team will come together and network and be like, yeah, I can help you. Like, no worries.
Oh, that's so fucking sick, bro.
Yeah.
That is so sick. I love community aspect. And the word that you threw out there was brotherhood. Like, brotherhood is the thing that keeps me constantly propelling forward in life.
Yeah.
You know, it's brotherhood that helps you create your network initially. What was it like moving countries and having to almost start a new brotherhood, you know, like starting a new community? Was that task an easy task to accomplish, or how did that look like?
Well, like I said, when I first moved here, I didn't know anyone. Like, I had no friends, no family. So like building this up took time. I would say social media as a tool helped me a lot, because I managed to build like a decent following on TikTok. An alright following on Instagram. Like it's not as crazy as TikTok, but
It's still
growing.
It's still crazy, bro.
It's still growing.
It's like 14,000 or something. Like that's
Yeah, it's gonna grow, and like I'm not really in my head. I'm not thinking about the numbers like that. I'm not like, oh, I got to get this number. This means the most. But the amount of people I've met just through social media alone is crazy. Like, look, I met you through
true.
Instagram, right?
Yeah, true.
And like now, like in the future, like say you could probably hit me up and be like, oh, bro, like I need help on this. Do you know anyone? Yeah, no worries, I can help you.
Yeah.
And then the same vice versa. That's networking, and that's how networking works. The more people you know, the more you can grow, and the more you can do, right? So at the end of the day, like people see social media as a bad thing. It's one of the best tools in today's society.
Unbelievable, man. Like I did about 50, 60 episodes of this podcast with just mates. I was just practicing for literally over a year. Once a week I'd have a new mate come over, and it was sick. Got to learn more about my mates and stuff, and then eventually I had to get to a point where I started taking leaps and hitting up people and reaching out and trying to grow my network, unintentionally growing my network, more involved in like the sense of, oh, this guy's interesting, let's just, I find interest in people.
Yeah.
But in doing so many doors have started to open. The world is expanding exponentially and rapidly. It was through Shreyas who I met Lozzie, and then through Lozzie
I met Shreyas in Dubai.
Yeah,
I met Shreyas in Dubai. I already knew Lossie, but I also met him out in Dubai, which is great, and we had like some crazy memories there.
Yeah, that's sick. And I'm curious if you want to touch on this as well. You said that you know these guys through a bit of a community in some way. Like, what was that? How does that work? Maybe I'm wrong.
Lossie?
Yeah.
Also, Lossie I met through just doing a degree, so we did Bachelor of Business degree together.
Right. Yeah.
Shreyas I just met through Lossie. He's a great guy. I met him in Dubai. I was staying at the same hotel, which was super random.
Yeah. That's sick. So have you traveled to many other countries other than Australia and Dubai?
I went to the Philippines last year with Marcus over here.
Yeah. Dope.
Philippines, Japan, New York, France, England, Thailand, Bali, New Zealand, all over Australia. I don't know. I've been to a fair few places.
Yeah.
And I've learned something new from every single place, And like Philippines, actually talking about that subject, it was such a humbling place. Like, had a crazy time there, but to see what people actually live like and to see how we have our life, it just makes you appreciate your life so much more. Like, Marcus will back me up with this story, right? We were just walking down the street and we thought we need food. Like, we're starving and there's not really much to eat there. So we go into this like 7-Eleven looking like place and we grab like a hot dog and stuff. And I was like, this food's horrible. Like, I hate this. Like, I don't want to eat this. But I felt like I definitely didn't want to waste it, right? But I didn't want to eat this. And like, at the end of the day, like, our standards of eating is a lot different to other countries. So when I walked outside the shop and I'd taken one bite, there was like these old ladies and they were like, please food, like this, begging for food. I just gave my half-eaten like hot dog to her, and she just ate it within like a split second. She was like that hungry. She ate it straight away.
Wow, that's wild, bro. I always find that every time I go to a country, I'm not really familiar with the way the native traditional people are living in that country. I'm usually at the resorts or the crew, whatever it is, with the boys or family. And I've been a couple times now where I've actually gone back to people's villages and seen the way they live back, even in their houses, bro. And sometimes it just blows my mind of the differences in the way I live compared to the way other people live in their natural country. You know what I mean? Like, we are very, very fortunate to live in the first, is it the first world or third? First world.
I don't know. We're just super fortunate. Whatever we are, but we're just super fortunate, honestly. Like, and people just don't realize that, Like, I even find like, so in Australia, right, I feel like we're just blessed. Like, obviously there's people, they come from different walks of life. Especially in Sydney, they talk about Western Sydney a lot because they like shout out to Western Sydney, but they always talk about like the tough upbringing of Western Sydney and stuff. And like, they've had a really tough upbringing, some people out here, right? But then you compare it to like Philippines and like makes this place look like absolute heaven. And you should be really lucky that we're even like here,
Yeah, I actually sat down with a lad in his episode, would have been a few episodes ago. So if anyone's listening and hasn't checked out the Jesse Grant episode, I'll put a link for that one. And he lived in multiple different countries growing up until he was about 12. And he said every time he'd come back to Australia for a 10-week period, he said it was like a resort. He said the entire country was a fucking resort. And he couldn't believe his eyes. Everyone has a car and everyone has a house and shit. And it's like, bro, like, we complain like we grew up in the slums and shit here in Western Sydney, bro. We got it good.
Yeah, we got it good, man.
It's wild. In these modules, if you're happy to go into it, did you say they're a free community at the moment with the...
So I have a free community where it's basically like, so like there's no joining fee to join, right?
Yeah.
Anyone's welcome. You just have a Skool account. Skool is like the platform for the community. And so, yeah, if you just create an account, you can join. Everyone's welcome. There is kind of a few questions to get in there because I don't want like people like destroying my community, like, you know, putting spam in there. I don't want girls in the community because this is strictly for guys. And, you know, I just want a certain criteria. Like, I want guys who actually want to improve. I don't want someone who's just going to join and sit there, you know?
Yeah. Okay, cool. So it's a pretty active involvement because I only know of Skool ever since Alex Hormozi spent like $200 million in it. You know, do you know Alex Hormozi?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
He's a fucking G, bro. He's like the biggest, the guy who's consumed the most content of it now. And he believes in the platform enticely. You know, he says that community is the number one thing that everyone should be going for, whether it's and it's mostly an educational based community. You know, pretty much all communities are pretty much based on the fact that someone is offering a bunch of people things and then they can all share amongst themselves. Is that kind of how it works?
Well, that's it basically. So like, you've got everyone in the network and everyone in the community. If you need to know something about a certain topic, mine's to do with self-improvement. So there's lots of things in self-improvement and there's so many ways you can improve yourself. You just chuck it in the community, right? So there's different sections in there. There's also videos that I film myself to help people out, which is completely free. There's a calendar section. So you basically go on there and it has different days of when the live calls are. So you can jump on and have a chat with me and all the other guys in the community. We've done a few now. So we've had it for 2 weeks and we've had 3 calls now. Yeah. And yeah, basically there's just so much value you can get from it for nothing, you know?
Yeah, that's so sick, bro. I'll get to some futuristic plans in a second, but with some of these modules, you know, like one of them was about appearance, you know, what's some of the takeaways that you can kind of give to people, even if it's just a taste or a trailer for anyone listening to this episode that might make them want to get involved in something like that? Because I'm curious myself, you know, like I saw your posts and your content and every part of it was sick, whether it was the fashion, whether it was the collaborations, like say Culture King send you some stuff and then you try on those outfits and things like that. Like it's good quality content. I really do believe it. So what's some of the things that you're kind of giving away and talking about in a segment of it, like appearance, you know?
Yeah. So I would say that I've got a lot of knowledge on like things like appearance and stuff like that. I've worked in the modeling industry for like 5 years now. I've modeled for some of the biggest brands like Culture Kings, and also many other massive activewear brands in Australia. So along this journey, I've learned different tricks that you can do to improve your appearance, things that can help your confidence. And the way I go about it is that like, I never used to have this. Now that I've practiced over the years of like modeling and working in front of like the camera, modeling with girls, you know, all these different things, it's helped me, you know, improve my knowledge. So I just want to pass that knowledge that I've learned over 5 years of working in this sort of industry, right? And give it to you guys for in the space of a few days. You know, they can see this content and watch all of it within a few days. So all that knowledge that I've learned over 5 years that I've done, failed in, learned from, experienced, they're going to learn within a week, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to get all that knowledge straight away, without having to like fail, basically. Like, because over the time, like just like sport, like modeling, you get rejected. People say no, you're not good enough. All these different things. So basically, those setbacks that I've had, the guys that are in my community are going to learn from my mistakes, and they're not going to make the same mistake. So they're already going to be that one step ahead of where I was at, just by being in the community and learning.
Yeah, that's sick. I think about this a lot too when it comes to forms of rejection. Like, I believe it's a bit of a necessary thing you have to go through sometimes. I love the idea of accumulative knowledge, you know. That's the way every trade works, every university course works. Everything's just a collection of people's decades and decades of studies being comprised into a short amount of time and being able to teach people that within something they can easily just pick up and now apply it to their own life. Everything works that same way, but experience takes a massive play as well, you know, in this guidance to men's mental health and confidence and status and appearance and all these things. How much are you trying to push people to go out there and test these things out for themselves as well? Because it's one thing to learn it, but then it's a second thing to apply it as well, you know?
Well, that's it. Like, that's where I really have to get involved and learn the person's like unique behavior and stuff like that. Like, for example, today I had a call with someone. He jumped on and basically he told me his unique scenario. He's at university. He's 22 years old. He has a problem with improving his physique. He also has a problem with talking to women, right? So I've set him a little task for this week and for the week after. Basically, not to go crazy and go ask for every girl's number.
Yeah.
Take small steps and go go order a coffee. If there's a girl at the coffee shop, just, you know, say, oh, how's your day? You know, like that. Have a genuine conversation with the girl. Treat them like a normal person. That way, you're taking a baby step to improving, which the week after, you can then go and just say hello to someone at the bus stop or just like be nice to someone, right? Whether it's a guy or a girl, old or young, these little baby steps are going to help them improve. So, and then I'll follow up with them, right? So then I'll be like, hey, bro, so how did you go last week? Did you go ask that girl at the coffee shop like how her day was, or did you not? If he says no, I'm saying I'm gonna say to him, what are you doing? Like, why are you even in this group if you're not even going to do this, you know?
Yeah.
He needs to be taking steps and actually doing these things, right? Because otherwise it's useless. I can make all the content out there saying do this, do that, but if you don't actually do it and listen, then at the end of the day, it's not going to work, right?
Yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah, that's sick. I think that any information anyone can learn to talk to more women is such valuable information, bro. It doesn't matter if you're confident or not. Like, as many little tips and tricks you can gain that's the key to existence, bro. I swear to God. Your content is appealing as well as informative, you know? You have good quality content. You said you have an editor now and a PA. Is that the word you said?
Yeah,
PA?
so that's it. So like I've invested a lot of money into it, you know? I've probably put over 10 grand into it, just like your setup, you know?
Yeah.
Got a really nice camera. Every week I send off like 6 videos minimum to my editor. She edits it all up for me. 1 YouTube video and the rest is just shorts. And then I edit some myself in my free time.
Yeah.
Then the PA out overseas, he just basically does a lot of research for me. He does the back end of the group, the community, because like it's okay right now. I've got like 50 people in there, but my goal is to get a lot of people in there, right?
Yeah.
And like to manage that all myself gets a bit crazy.
Yeah.
There's lots of people asking questions. I need support, right? And the way to grow is to do it as a team, and I need a team. So like at the end of the day, that's the quickest way I'm going to grow. That's the best way I'm going to grow without overloading my mind and making me go crazy.
Yeah, that's so sick, bro. I refer to this a lot on the podcast, but easiest example for me to use is Patrick Bet David, because he said that before he decided to become multimillionaire, he knew the only way to do it was to do it with a group of people, you know?
That's it.
You can sit at the top of the throne by yourself, and it's like, what's the point of being on the throne, you know? Why not bring people up with you and grow something? Because there's only so much, even when it comes to myself, I'm doing everything myself. There's only so much I can do, and now I'm limited in time. And so many people like myself struggle to make that investment in actually handing over meaningless tasks that we don't need to be doing in the first place. And to already have that mindset is a sick mindset to have, you know?
Well, that's it. Like at the end of the day, like if you want to grow, you just can't be afraid to shed a little bit of skin and invest in your content, invest in your stuff. Yeah, at the start, it's going to be really difficult because like, you know, we work full-time jobs, then we do this on the side. It's just a side hustle. Yeah. But then once it becomes the main thing, and in that transition period, you just have to take that step to like invest in it, because otherwise you're going to spend all your days, all your hours editing non-stop, and you're going to have no life, right? And that's why I spend money on someone editing my videos now. And then half of it I kind of edit myself still, because there's obviously things that you want to edit your own way.
Yeah.
But like it just takes a lot of stress off me. It probably takes like 10 hours a week off of me where I don't have to edit, right?
Yeah, and I think about it too, like people pay me for my services I gain as a tradesman because of it's my full-time gig, but then I go ahead and I do something on the side that isn't my full-time paid career. So why don't I just pay someone who does it for their full-time gig, just like how someone wants a professional? Obviously someone else, if it's their full-time gig, are going to do a better job at it than me. You know,
yeah, that's it.
Why am I not paying people to edit my videos for me? It's freaking wild. Now, most people, and I've kind of got this shared belief as well, because I do it myself. Content is almost a full-time job. Like it's probably more hours invested where it comes to just thinking of it and ideas. And now you have a group of people you're trying to talk to as well. Because it's basically a full-time job, that's why you have to shed a little skin. You have to spend a little bit of money, because people want to start their own business on the side. They have to make that financial investment off their full-time job to start their business. But you've also got a business on the side as well as content, you know? Yeah. So take us through that journey from the beginning. Like CC, the label, is the name of your swimwear company. How did that start initially? What was that first like?
So initially it started from just travel. So I previously spoke about traveling a lot, and I was posting a lot of content in swimwear, right? So all the shorts I was wearing in these photos, they were going viral, and I was like, damn, like what is this? Like people like see me like on holiday and stuff like that, right? But you know what? In all these photos, I used to think to myself like, they're sick photos, but I wish I was wearing nice shorts. Like I like these shorts. I like the way they look. I just don't like the way they feel. They don't fit good. They don't stretch. And I was like, you know what? I need to make my own.
Yeah.
Like, I need my own brand.
Yeah.
I should be wearing my own brand. Why am I wearing someone else's? But at the end of the day, because I don't like the way these fit, I don't like how they feel, I'm going to make mine 10 times better. I'm going to take every single aspect from these shorts that I'm wearing right now and make them more comfortable, softer, higher quality, all these aspects. And then I'm just going to wear my own brand.
Yeah, that's a good pitch, dude. I love that. I'm in, bro. I'm going to start
That's
buying
it.
some shorts. They sound like the good
See you
shorts.
the label,
bro.
baby. To the moon.
Yeah, that's gangster. So I have that same mindset, to be honest with. Like, I go through a lot of different clothes. I pretty much am a little bit of a shopping addict, you know what I mean? Like, I like looking different in everything I do. It's just part of my
You
personality.
look cool, man. You like
Oh,
even the
thank
tats
you.
and stuff. Like, you know, I want to
Appreciate
get a
it.
tat, but I'm too scared.
I'll get to that in a second. That's my favorite conversation. I find that a lot of the shit I buy is just good enough. You know what I mean? Like, it's not nothing that ever really stands out to me the most out of anything. And lately, my mindset's been like, why not just design my own clothes and wear my own shit? Like, if I'm not happy with the shit I'm buying and I know what I'm looking for, why don't I just make it myself? So that's a mad way to start a business in the first place, you know? I think that G'd Up is my favorite brand. You know, I've been really obsessed with that brand for a long time, and he just makes the clothes that he likes and he wants to wear. He doesn't really care what's in and what culture wants. He is the culture.
He is
Paco
the
from
culture,
G'd Up.
yeah.
Like, it's phenomenal. So I also, speaking on CC the label and the Instagram, I'm so glad I found that, because it's an absolute smoke show after one after another. Like, it's so gangster. Bro, I was on it just getting ready for this episode, just like, oh my God, click, collaborate, yep, done. Follow. You know what I mean? Oh, who's this girl? Yep, follow. It's so dope. So marketing's obviously something you're pretty familiar with, you know?
Yep.
How's that look? Since you started wearing your own shorts only, that's the primary thing. Now, how have you transitioned, and how long has it taken since that to now when you're collaborating with models and things like this? Like, how long did that kind of take, and what did that story kind of look like?
So I've had this business now for about a year and a half.
That's not very long.
Yeah,
to
so
be
it's not
honest.
too
Wow.
long. I focused on shorts and bikinis at the start. Now it's like gone more the route of bikinis completely, because women just love to buy. Like, women love to buy, right? They always need the new colors. They always need new this and that. So I kind of transitioned that, and that's part of being an entrepreneur, you know? You have to recognize what's working and what does well, adapt your business and change it, and then go down that route, right? So that's exactly what I did. Changed the route to that. And look, it's been doing so much better ever since, right? It was definitely one of the best decisions I've made. There are a lot more new men's stuff coming on the way, but what people don't really understand about having a small business is that, one, you never make true profit for a very long time because you reinvest it straight away. So really, you're just working just to grow it. Two, it takes so long and so much back and forth to get the product right, because you're dealing with overseas, right? So like, you have to put so much effort in to get it right, and then they mess it up, and then you pay to renew, like, get a new sample and all these things, and it takes a very long time. So anyone who has a successful small business, massive credits to them, because it's so much work. It's really difficult, and like, people just think, oh, make your own brand, it's easy. I've seen so many brands fail and close down. It's definitely not easy. It's definitely not something you can do part-time. You need to put like all your effort into it, because mate, you got to be the jack of all trades, right? You got to be the accountant, the marketer, the website builder, the photographer, you have
to be the networker.
It's got to be everything, right? And so you learn so many skills with it, which is great, but like, that's just absorbing your energy, and it takes a lot of work, and you truly have to believe in it for it to do well, right? So you have to put behind all your effort, and it just takes a long time, but I believe it's worth it. I know it's going to do well, you know?
Oh, dude, I'd do it just to look at the girls. Right? See, that's so gangster.
Yeah, I know.
It's so fucking sick. Like, every business that I see, like swimwear's a good example of one. Like, it took time, man. It took time for all of these people to grow, and it's that constant reinvestment. It's almost addicting. It's fun. Like, having a business on the side, whether it be for profit or just for free time, like, it's really a fulfilling thing to do. You know, having a business that can sustain itself without even making a profit is a fulfilling thing. Like, the podcast is a perfect example for me. I've got other things in my life that I'm trying to venture down as well, but you're right when you say a lot of businesses don't work, you know? Like, I find that even if I was going to talk about the podcast community, I know quite a few people now who have been podcasting and then they've decided, or doing content in general, and they've decided, oh, I want to start a clothing line, and they've ordered, and it's just they've never been able to offload it. You know, I kind of know from my own experience. I had one of my mates. He went inside for a little bit. He got caught doing stupid shit, and there was a period where it was coming up to Christmas, so it was a time where I was like, oh, I was starting to feel bad for him. He wanted to be able to buy his presents for his mom and dad and sister and his girlfriend and things like this. So I just said, lads, why don't I just start this clothing line? He used to sell his own merchandise on the side, and I say, we'll just everyone buy hoodies. Who wants hoodies? Yeah. We'll make all the profit, and we'll go buy his family presents. And I ordered probably 100 hoodies because 100 people said they wanted the hoodies, and probably 40 fucking people bought the hoodies that I ordered, bro. And I was already out of pocket, stacks of money. I was like,
that's what happens.
Having your own business sucks, bro. I know it was a non-for-profit too, bro.
That's it.
Yeah, it was fucking shit. So
it's not easy. It's like super hard.
Yeah. So I'm curious, why do you think so many people fail that initial stage? And if they stuck with it, do you reckon it would have paid out, or do you have to kind of learn along the way while you're doing it? You know?
Well, I see so many people do this, right? So they'll start something, they'll do it until it gets really hard, then they'll stop. But like when it gets to that point is the point when you need to keep working, right? Like the same thing happened with my TikTok. I was doing it, it was growing really quick. I got to 100K, but it was getting like hard, you know, like working full time and making these videos. Do I stop? Do I not? So I had a bit of a break. But at the end of the day, if you push past that point where it starts getting hard, there's just so much there on the other side, right? So much untapped potential. So you just got to get through it. And a lot of people don't like going past that point, you know, it's very testing. But that's why, like, not everyone has it at the end of the day, you know what? Like, not everyone's going to have a crazy, successful setup like this or like a great podcast, right? Because they don't want to, there's a lot of barriers to entry, right? That, you know, you've got to have all this setup, you've got to be filming every week, you've got to edit all the videos. Like, people just don't want to put that work in, right? So, but if it was easy, right? Like you say, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. Yeah. And doing this stuff is not easy. Having your own business is not easy. Having your own podcast is not easy. Being a content creator looks easy, really isn't when you take it seriously. Like, being that flashy Instagram girl model, you know, it might be easy for her, you know. She just goes to the beach and takes pictures of her tits and that's it. 100,000 likes. But us out here, we're grinding, you know. We're putting in that work, you know.
Sweating away, bro. But you're right when you say gaining value, you know. That's what we have to do as men. Like, unfortunately, we weren't born with a pair of tits. Like, everything we have to do is earn. And I kind of want to get to this mindset in a minute, but the difference between men and women and values and things like this. And I believe, and you mentioned that not everyone's able to have a clothing brand or a podcast studio, but I genuinely believe that if you put in the time and the consistency and you stick through it, everyone could, you know. That's the big difference. I think a lot of people think that the things out there are unattainable, like people that have a really good physique that are in shape at the gym. Oh, I'll never look like that. And the only reason they won't look like that is because of the fucking attitude they have. Like, you know, no one's born with a silver platter. You made a big decision to move countries and start your whole life since then from the beginning, you know, like that's against all odds at the end of the day. Like, that's, you know, no one can look at you and think, oh, he's just lucky. He was probably born, you know, parents have rich, you know, they helped him do all this and that. But it's like, you really did have to overcome obstacles along the way. Podcasting is exactly the same. Like, I think that everyone has the potential, bro, but it's just that shift in mindset that everyone needs. There's no luck involved. You have to earn your keeps every single time.
That's it.
What was that initial moment that made you realize you wanted to do this for the community? You know, like the content's growing, it's getting traction, you know, it's around the things that you're interested in anyway, whether it be appearances or haircuts or clothing, whatever it's about. I don't know what it was about in the beginning. What was it about in the beginning?
I'm going to be completely honest. In the beginning, it was first traps. Straight out first traps, you know, walking out the water, shirt off, like water splashing everywhere, shaking the hair like this. But I soon realized, like, where's the value in that? There's no value, and this isn't doing me any favors. I'm getting nothing from it. Maybe, back then, a few girls would DM you, right? But, like, at the end of the day, the saying goes, look after yourself, get rich, and they'll come after you anyway. It doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, I started off doing that. I realized there was no value in what I was doing. It was purely just like, I don't know, it was just like nothing. I don't really care about this.
Yeah.
So I wanted to actually do something that was like valuable for people. Yeah. And like helping them in the way that I can help them with their confidence, the way they look, and all these aspects. is making an impact for them, for their lives. And that's what I wanted to do, right? And that's what I want to do for a living.
I've recently been involved with a lot of people that have that same mindset, helping a younger generation of people, whether it come from a place of having to go through it on their own, whether it come from a place of having good support when they were younger or not having good support when they're younger. It seems to be a very common energy that's in the air around mid-20s to early 30s age of wanting to do everything they can to help the next generation of lads. Can't speak for women just like yourself because I've got no fucking idea. Even how, bro, what the fuck they got going on. You know what I mean? Like, even when I'm in a relationship, long-term relationship, like I could be 2, 3, 4 years into a relationship and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on in your head, bro. It's great. It's crazy. But what I'm getting at is like, I'm going to try and help introduce you to the circle that I'm introduced to. You know, it's a very good, positive network of lads who just all share the same belief system, and that's just doing everything they can to help out. And it's a very, I don't know how to say this. Like, you don't do it for this reason, but the universe genuinely does reward people who do things selflessly. Yeah. Like, you can't hold on to it as a vice. You know, you can't, like the biblical verse where you give 10% to the church to be able to receive more back. Yeah. It's not the reason you do it. But it's an awesome thing that life gets better because you are helping people, you know?
Exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah. And like with my community, I'm actually losing money on this. Like I'm paying for the Skool membership, right? Which is like $150 a month.
Wow.
I'm spending a lot of time making these videos to go into the Skool community, which I could be doing to work, right? So I'm losing money again. All for other people's gain, right?
Yeah.
But I love seeing it, right? And at the end of the day, if I do grow and when I do grow this community to become something like of a force or where everyone's together, it's going to be crazy. Like there's going to be some mad squad out there, like the Welham squad. It's going to be crazy, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And like, I'm going to look back and be like, damn, like I started off doing this all for like nothing. And then now I've got this crazy squad behind me of just like absolute dominant males that are just like causing havoc in the streets of all over the world, you know?
Yeah, that's so dope, bro. So if someone is in a position, I'm trying to think of an example like where a guy doesn't have much confidence to go approach women, what do you think the best way for those lads to start doing it is? Would it be on the dating app scene? Would it be in real life? Would it be going out clubbing? What do you think is people's best bet to start their journey of, you know, trying to become more confident and approaching women, you know?
Well, like it all stems from, first of all, like you don't go in the mindset of like, I want to pull like 10 birds, you know? Like you don't go out there like that.
Yeah, I've got that mindset all the time.
You know? Like
it's so addicting. I hate it, yeah.
I know, but like at the end of the day, like first, you've already got it, right? So like you just need to like look after yourself first. You look like you take care of yourself.
I try to.
You know what I mean? Like, take care in the way you look, take care in the way you dress, get regular haircuts.
Oh, fuck, I didn't get my... Bro,
I
was meant to get I was meant to wear a hat, bro. I swear to God, I was like, fuck, I don't have time for a haircut. Damn, no, I'll edit a hat in, don't worry about it.
Edit that on, man. Like, no. But like, you know what I mean? Like, look to improve yourself first. And then once you've got yourself to a point where you're like, oh, you know what, I actually like... I feel confident in myself because I look good, I feel good, smell good, all these aspects, right? Mm-hmm. Then you can go and progress to go and talking to someone, because why is a female going to go talk to some bum at the end of the day? I know. Just straight out like that. And I even tell these guys, I'm like I'm just going to be honest with you. Name me one reason why a girl would want to talk to you right now.
Yeah.
And if they don't name me one reason, then they have no confidence in themselves. Then there's a problem.
Yeah.
Right? If you can't name one reason why a girl wouldn't talk to you, then like there's a serious problem, right? I'm sure you can name like 50.
Yeah, bro. Like I think the I don't know, it's almost like a lack of repetition, you know? When you don't go to the gym for enough time, you kind of don't have the strength or even the belief in the fact that you would be able to lift as much as you used to lift.
That's
like
it.
I feel like just putting yourself out there just builds that system of routine in which you'll lose. Like there's a mad thing out called 100 Days of Rejection. You ever heard of 100 Days of Rejection?
Yeah.
It's something that I've only recently become familiar with. And basically a guy ran a system or a course and gave it out for free. I think he did a TED talk on it. That's where I first found it. And he was talking about how the first day you go to a coffee shop, I think, and ask for the coffee for free. And then they're obviously going to say no. You're going to get rejected.
Yeah.
But then you can just follow up with, oh, just curious why, you know, and because it costs money to get. Like, it's not that hard. But then the next day you try something else crazy. And then by the end of, like, I think day 10 or 15, he was like going to people's homes and like planting flowers in their backyard, but asking people, can I come into your house and then go at the back and plant a flower? And along this process, he started to find out what works and what doesn't. And by the end of it, he's pretty much preaching to people that you'll have no problem asking for pay rises, getting the hottest girl in the club, or literally just approaching someone, a stranger, whether it be for business proposal, personal gain, or future endeavor. Like, he believes in the fact that it's the repetition and getting the no's that helps you get the yes. Do you think that's a big fact that a lot of lads need to go through? They need to just start becoming comfortable getting rejected?
100%. Like,
Yeah.
so important. You have to get rejected. Like, you have to know what it feels like. You know what I mean? Like, and if you haven't been rejected yet, it's because you're not trying something that's out of your comfort zone, right? Because if you keep getting accepted, it's because you keep doing things that's like within range of your comfort. If you do something that's like out of your comfort zone, you're bound to get rejected. Like, just say you go up and talk to a 10, she probably gonna reject you, right? But then you're just like, I don't even care. There's like a million else out there. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck. Like, why would I care? And then same with like the job. If you go for like a job that's like 150K a year salary, you might get rejected. You might get rejected. You might actually get accepted. You never know. But if you don't, try and get out of your comfort zone and set those like limits and goals, then you're never really going to grow, and you're never really going to like build your mindset and confidence to a point where like you can go for these higher things, because you've always been going for lower.
That is such a fucking sick point. I can't believe I've never thought about that. Like, I should be trying to get rejected. I shouldn't be doing it with an expectation of I might get rejected. But if I start getting yeses, maybe I should think to myself, like, I should have picked the hotter girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, like, listen to this. So like the mindset is aim to get rejected.
Yeah.
Sounds crazy, but aim to get rejected because of that reason.
Wow.
If you aim to get rejected, but you end up getting accepted, you've gone above and beyond what you were expecting to have, right?
Yeah.
If you go for something really low and get accepted, you'll always have in your mind that, damn, like I went for like something that I should have got more of, I went for a job which had 50,000 a year, salary.
Yeah.
And I got accepted straight away. I should have gone for that one that was like 100.
Damn,
and got rejected and then gone down, because, same applies with women. Go for the 10. If you get rejected, go for the 9.
Yeah.
Hey, it's the end of the night. You're going for a 4. You're going for a 4.
Okay, we don't go below 6s, bro. We don't go below 6s.
Yeah,
that's sick, bro. I'm definitely going to start implementing that into my life. I've never had that mindset of trying to get a no. I pretty much live my life confident or delusional enough to be able to get what I want, you know what I mean? Maybe it isn't me not stepping out as far as I need to be, stepping outside of my comfort zone. I've probably just got a system that I've been following that works, and maybe I'm just used to that system that works. It's definitely something I'm going to try and do more in my life. Now, I've also seen you've been into videography. I've seen that on your thing. That's something you're recently into. How did that kind of start? Was that just from doing your own content that you found the passion in doing so? Like, what's that kind of look like in your life at the moment?
Well, like, so I already had the equipment, because obviously I'm filming my own content, and I've always built up the experience by filming my own stuff. People would ask like, oh, can you film mine? But yeah, I can film yours, no worries. And it just became a thing where like sometimes people were offering me money to film, right? And then businesses were offering me money. So then, you can never get enough. So like at the end of the day, I was like, yeah, why not? And I just sort of built up the experience of filming for brands, filming for companies and businesses, like all sorts really. And just going with that, like videography. It's just sort of a little side hustle that I do here and there.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy it as well. Like, there's nothing better than like working for yourself, and you just go out there, you can film whenever you want and edit whenever you want. So at the end of the day, like, it's just working on your terms. I don't know, man. I just hate working for other people, really. So like, I'll do anything I can not to work for someone, because I hate spending my time to build someone else's dream when I can just use my time to build my own dream.
Yeah.
And that's the thing in life, really. That's just what I want to go for.
I definitely can relate in that sense, although I find that working for someone is kind of necessary, you know what I mean? Not just from a financial point. It's also like, if you've never worked for someone else, you're never going to know what it's like to have employees yourself. It's being the best employee you can that's going to teach you the skills to be able to create the best employees. It's like learning how to be a confident person to then teach young people how to be confident people as well, I'm with you. I hate being told what to do. I've never liked authority, but I'm finding the skills that I'm applying being an employee to things that I want to start taking on now as a business owner as well.
Yeah.
And I'm almost gone to a point where it's like, shit, I don't want to stop working for someone now, because like I want to just hang around the owner of this business. I want to hang around the boss. Being an employee is so good when you look at it from a point of like a student, you know?
Yeah.
Super important, super important. When you did this university degree, is that what you call
Yeah.
a degree? In, what do you call it, Bachelor of Business?
Bachelor of Business I did. Yeah, that's it.
How long was that one entirely?
In total, that was like 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
But I would say, honestly, I've learned way more from YouTube and networking than I ever did in a degree. And I feel like the school system in today's society is failing everyone, and they need to be teaching people more real life shit.
Yeah.
And that, at the end of the day, that's why I have a school on teaching people stuff in real life and no bullshit, right? At the end of the day, I'm teaching them what's going to happen in their life and how you're going to get around it. Whereas in school, they just teach you stuff that was taught to you maybe like 300 years ago.
Yeah.
Fucking this bloke wrote this scholarship on article and this and that no one gives a fuck about.
Yeah.
And the guy who's like teaching you it is the biggest bum, right?
Yeah,
And like, no offense to him, but like at the end of the day, it's true. Like, why would I listen to you?
Yeah.
But like, we're told in school, you have to do this, then you have to go and do your, I think it's in Australia, like ATAR. I don't know.
ATAR is, I think that's what you call your HSC, and
Yeah.
it's what you get ATAR from, and that's like when you've graduated year 12, yeah.
Yeah, so like, we're told to do like your HSC and then go to university and then get like a job, right? But at the end of the day, like, you don't have to do that. And like, no one's forcing you to do it, but they kind of put pressure on you to do that. And like, our parents we're always trying to push us to do that. I never wanted to do a degree ever. That's why I left England, because I was like, all my mates went to uni and I was like, nah, stuff that. I'm going to go to Australia.
Yeah.
And that's it. But I was kind of forced to do it because my visa ran out.
Yeah,
So like,
okay.
the only way like someone on a visa can stay here is if they study. And this gave me the longest visa. So I just did that, you know?
Yeah. Damn, that's sick. What's it kind of look like now? Like when it comes to a visa, what do you have to do to be able to stay in Australia?
Well, I'm trying to get permanent residency, but yeah, it takes a long time.
Yeah.
Right now I've got like a long visa, like 5-year visa, so I'm alright.
Yeah, I think one of the guys I work with, he's trying to go for that permanent residency as well. Actually, someone else I know outside of work, he wants to legally marry one of his mates, because that way he can stay in this country. You know what I mean? Like, such a dope
There's
thing.
some crazy shit going on.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Shout out to you. You know who you are. It's the experience that you've learned in university didn't teach you much. Do you feel like it was beneficial at all to get that degree while you were here?
It was definitely a stepping stone in my life. Basically, if it wasn't for that degree, I wouldn't still be here, because, you know, the government will fuck me off and kick me out, you know? So like, yeah, I had to get that degree to stay here. But to be honest, man, I didn't learn anything. I didn't learn nothing.
Yeah, that's such a shame.
Lossie
bro.
would tell the same, man. Like, Lossie knows. Lossie will probably be watching this, and he will tell you as well. You know, you learn your stuff in real life, and you have to go through stuff to learn. And, you know, university's not going to teach you anything unless you want to be a doctor or you want to be like a really crazy profession.
Yeah.
You're better off doing like a trade.
Yeah, I think that trade you learn through TAFE, even the education you learn at TAFE, it ain't going to teach you nothing compared to the shit you're going to learn experience-wise. But only science is the things that you should really be going to university for, whether it be the human mind, the human body, the human connection, anything to do with science is the only fucking reason I'd ever go to. I want to go to university one day. I'm probably about 6 years away from that chapter in my life where I want to start doing a university degree. But the more people I ask, the more people are like, bro, it's asked. Like, don't bother. Whether it be content, whether it be media, whether it be business. Like, it doesn't sound like anything is incisive when it comes to university anymore. No. So, yeah, it's wild. Now, one thing that I did notice, you did this thing on Digital Journal.
Yep.
And one of the questions was in relation to being an entrepreneur like yourself, you know, and I believe they orchestrated this questionnaire to kind of give information down to people who are interested in the first place. And the question was, what advice could you give to someone when it comes to starting their own business or an entrepreneur? And your answer was, just start today. Don't worry about thinking about tomorrow. Something along these lines. Sorry for butchering it. Because if you don't, someone else will. And that kind of led me to believe that you have a very similar mindset to me, and that's almost that life's a competition. You know, do you share that same mindset? Do you think life is a competition?
100%. And I feel like you're only really in competition with yourself, because like you're the only person that's stopping you from doing something. And, you know, like everyone has the same resources to go out and they do something, right? And you should just go out there and start now. Like at the end of the day, start today, because if you don't, someone else is going to do it. and they're gonna get their dream life and you're not. So at the end of the day, like that's it. All just comes down to starting, man. Like same with anything. As soon as you start, you know, you're gonna carry it on and keep it going. Like you started this podcast, now you keep going with it, and it's doing great. Whereas like if you didn't start this, you might have still been in your head, oh, should I start? Do I do this?
Yeah.
Just don't mess around with like wasting time. Just get on with it and just do it, you know, and then you'll learn along the way, right?
Yeah.
So like start now and just worry about the consequences later. And I've always done that with every part of my life.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of given, you know, from the way we started the conversation to the fact that you just changed countries at 18 years old. That's kind of like, fuck it, I'll deal with the consequences later. There's no real safety and security necessarily that you're dependent on, like a lot of people are, and they don't make leaps and bounds forward, step out of their comfort zone. You know, they don't ask for the rejection. They don't go outside their expectations because everyone just wants to feel safe all the time, bro. And it's kind of a human characteristic, biological trait, but it's also a biological trait to go out there and gather and hunt and put yourself out into vulnerable situations. So I kind of have this belief system. I want to know what you think on it too, that some people are hunters and gatherers and some people are to look after the fucking cave. You know what I mean? I don't know if everyone's necessarily able to be the type of individual to take risks. And do you think it's something that everyone is capable of, or do you think it's something that only a certain type of individual will do?
I feel like, you know, when we're put into this world, we are here and we all have like a purpose in life. Not everyone can do the same purpose and do the same thing. That's why there's different roles in life at the end of the day. But, you know, just because you have a certain starting point in life doesn't necessarily mean you can't do something, right? And I always use this from my own upbringing. And a massive shout out to those people who have been brought up in like a rough place or have had a tough upbringing. Because people see it as a bad thing, right? But it's actually a massive blessing. So if you're brought up in a low income family with nothing, like, I'll give you a little backstory, right? So you can put things together.
I was about to ask.
So I grew up, like I said, with my grandparents. My nan mostly looked after me along with my dad. But I think I was around 14 years old. My dad got stabbed maybe 50 times. Fuck. He was in London, right? And he was in hospital for a whole year. Like, you know, I had no dad basically, but he somehow survived. I don't know how, but he did. But at that same time, my nan had cancer. So she had breast cancer, right? She was also in hospital. So no one was really looking after me. It was just a horrible time in life. But I got through the worst time I could possibly get through. And I'm here today. And at the end of the day, when I got to the point where I could move countries, I'd already seen the worst. I'd already seen the worst it can possibly get. So what's going to happen if I move to the other side of the world? I've got nothing to lose. Because when you start at the bottom, you really have nothing to lose, you know? Whereas when you already start at the top, you know, you got a wealthy family and stuff like this and thing, you actually do have something to lose. Like you can go back. Whereas when you're at the bottom, you can't go back. You can only go up. And at the end of the day, I'm so grateful for my family for pushing me to make these decisions and do this, because they're the ones that pushed me to make the decision to go overseas and do that, because they knew like there's nothing here for you. That you know, you've got nothing to lose. Just go for it and, you know, go for that journey that you want to live. And that's exactly what I did. And I feel like other people can definitely do the same. And like, just because where you started off doesn't mean it's where you're going to finish, right?
Yeah, no, I love that. I think that I've met people in especially, and like as I mentioned, I love holidays. I go to as many countries as I can. I'm not a traveler. I don't know if I ever will be. I'd like to say one day I will, but I'll have to have that bit of financial security. I still hold on to that. There's different things that I try and take on. Yeah. There's different things that I feel comfort in, and fear is a good word for it, you know?
Yeah.
But I met people in these surrounding suburbs that have never left the postcodes, bro. Like, it's fucking unbelievable. Like, they got the tattoos, bro, and they're like, yeah, fuck that, bro. It's like, what the bro, you're a loser. You know what I mean?
Mate, they can. But like at the end of the day, not everyone wants to, you know, and that's totally fine as well. Like, you don't have to do something just because other people are doing it.
Yeah.
And like I respect that as well, but they should. Like I honestly should say to them, like, you know, just try it, man. Like, just try another country or just try a holiday. You'll never know, and I'm guarantee you'll like it. You know, like even Marcus, bro. Like when you went on holiday when you were a kid, but then when like we went to the Philippines, bro, like that opened your eyes, right? Like you were like, wow.
Different perspective.
Yeah, like that was a completely different perspective. Like, you know, me and one of the other guys, we traveled a lot, and I knew what we were kind of expecting, but even I was a bit blown away. I was like, wow, these people live different, right?
Yeah.
And like Marcus saw that for himself and was like unbelievable. And we're trying to plan another holiday again soon because he like, bro, we just couldn't believe it. There was another guy as well with us, Stephen. He hadn't
Shout out Stephen. Yeah.
Shout out Stephen, bro. Shout out Stephen. He's from Dubbo, and he'd never left like Dubbo until moving to Sydney.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd gone overseas before or ever caught a flight, but he came with us. He was like blown away. Couldn't believe like what he was seeing and like the experience. And now we just can't wait to do another holiday, right? It was just like a great lads trip, and we're gonna do it again. And of course, you know, we nearly got arrested like 5 times. Like this could be another story, right? Yeah, I don't really know. What happens in the Philippines stays in the Philippines. We nearly died like 10 times.
Yeah, bro, I've been in Thailand, I've been in Bali, bro. Trust me, I know what happens overseas, stays overseas, bro. Trust me. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say that I know people who have also lived in places like country towns. Like I got a mate in Dubbo as well. And when he made that decision to move, I was so proud of him, bro. But you're right when you say that, like, maybe if people don't want to, they don't have to. But it's something that I heard from Theo Von. He said he asked someone for advice when he was first thinking about leaving his hometown for the first time. He's like, man, I'm just weighing up the odds because his career was starting to take off. You know, he was just doing well as a comedian way before the podcasting days. He says, man, I don't know. I'm just scared. Like, I just don't know if I should make this decision. And then his person that he asked hit him with the advice, like, you can always come home, you know?
Exactly. You can always just come home. Like,
yeah. Like, and like that's something that people don't consider. And I think about that when it comes to leaving my job, starting a new career, going a completely different path, or starting my own business, or going into a relationship with a girl that it's like, let's take this seriously. It's like, you can always pull out.
yeah. What conversation is this going down?
I should always pull out.
No. Yeah, you can clip that part of the video, right? I should always pull out. This is like a Durex advert.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Durex.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that it shows an awesome characteristic trait, dude, of a risk taker and starting your own business and putting yourself online in content. And that's the next thing I was going to get at too. Like, what did that look like from a sense of, and you said in the beginning you weren't as confident doing it, and you said some people were kind of throwing some shade your way in the beginning. And what did that kind of look like in the beginning stages when you said you only had like 50 followers and things like that?
So I had a friendship group at the time, which I built from like my early days of being in Australia. They did not support my journey one bit.
Do you mind if I, sorry to cut you off, but like, where did you grow this friendship since you came here? Like, how did that all kind of happen? Without giving exact business names or
yeah, I definitely don't want to throw names out there, but they'll know who they are if they watch this, you know? Yeah. But like at the end of the day, they probably won't watch this because they don't give a fuck. But
no,
like,
they will, bro. They will.
At the end of the day, I had a group of friends, and there were certain people in that group that just did not believe in me one bit. I used to say things like, yeah, I might have said like crazy things like, one day I'm going to own like a white Lambo and shit like this. Yeah. And I even like put it down to the exact like car I was going to have and everything like this. And yeah, that might have been a bit far-fetched, right? But I knew like one day my content was going to do well and it's going to grow and it's going to take time. But these people didn't want to follow my journey. So I just said, you know what? If you don't want to follow my journey, I don't want to be friends with you. Never talk to them again, really. Yeah. So like, didn't speak to them ever again. Didn't want to know them. So I found a new friendship group, Marcus is a part of. I just found like everyone in this group is supportive, likes my stuff, follows, comments, tries helping with the videos. Yeah, there's obviously some videos, like especially when you're making it about men's grooming, it could look like you're vain. It could look like you're being overly confident. It can look like, you know, all you do is love yourself and stuff, but it's not. It's like trying to help people, right? And especially when you transition from no talking videos to talking to camera, it's a massive jump, right? I never wanted to do this, but I ended up doing it and just filming talking to camera videos. But it just took getting past that point of like people hating on my stuff, right? Especially with like on TikTok and YouTube especially, it's very anonymous, right? Instagram, there's like, you can still see the picture, you can see their name, but on YouTube and on TikTok, people put like fake names, people put like spam accounts, and the comments are just crazy, bro.
Yeah,
like,
bro.
I could make a whole video just on like comments that people have left. I'm like, yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've ever left a negative comment on someone's post. Like, why would I?
Oh, I can't help it, bro. Like, so I don't do it to be a dick. I do it like, you know, I just can't help myself. But that's only if the video is intentionally, like, that's what the video is, bro. Like, it's trending for that reason. Like,
oh yeah, of course.
I can't lie. So if it comes my way, I kind of deserve it. Like, I do that. Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, like I just oh yeah, I get hate all the time. Like some of the comments are crazy. I wish I could show you some now, but like there's just too many, man. Like there's just so many. People are like, how'd you deal with it? Like I know some content creators that have started have asked me like, how'd you deal with this
That's
hate
what I was
commenting?
curious about. Yeah.
I don't read them. I just generally don't read them. Like, bro, thanks for boosting my engagement. Now my video has more comments. Now it's getting more views. Then I'll eventually make more money. So fuck you. At the end of the day, like I generally don't read their comments. I do scan through comments. Like I scroll because on TikTok there's quite a lot of them because TikToks can go viral, and some comments you get like a few thousand on one post. And I just try to reply to as many as I can, like positive ones. But and occasionally I see a shit one, I just go, scroll past that one. I don't give a fuck.
It's important too, which is kind of like a bit of a shame if you're the type of person who can't handle criticism in a way, like I can definitely relate. Obviously no one likes being told they're shit or fucking ugly or whatever the thing might be, but to create an engaging audience, you have to engage with your audience. The people that I know who have made success through TikTok, they are active with their community. They're replying to people, they're liking, they're saying thank you, they're doing these kind of things, and it really does work because people are investing the time in watching your videos, so it's important to be able to invest a little bit of time back, And that's why I think streaming is the #1 thing to take off ever, because people are no longer just watching people from a distance. People are engaging in a community now. Like people, everyone's seen Kai Cenat's streams, or whether it be clips, whatever it is, but it's always like, yo, chat, what do you reckon about this? Chat, what do you reckon, chat? And they're constantly reading. There's a billion messages going off at the same time, but they're trying to quickly scan every now and then and throw something back. And that makes people want to comment more.
That's it.
Because like now they might get a response, and I know it because I'll share clips and things on my Instagram and I'll tag the people involved sometimes. And if you get a like back or a comment or a thumbs up from someone with that you look up to, whether it be comedians or business owners or celebrities of any sort, it does make you feel good. You're like, damn, he's put a little bit of time in to me. You know, it's a nice thing. But for me personally, I've taken the advice that anyone's told me online, where it's like, I've never read one comment. I've never read one Instagram comment. I've never read one YouTube comment. Like I see it in a sense of like, I don't have that engaging community in that sense. And my community is like, I meet you, you come on, and now I have my network with you. For the people listening, I thank every single one of them for doing so. But if you don't want to send me a message, like it's like, I'm not going to engage, It's easier for me to sort of say, nah, I'm not reading shit. So if anyone's left me a negative comment, I wouldn't have a fucking clue, bro.
That's it. And like, at the end of the day, that's why I made this community that from school, basically just to have more like personal interaction with people who actually follow me and care about my stuff. It's kind of like giving back, right? And like they've been supporting my stuff for a long time, so I'm giving back by giving them a more personal touch to improve their life. But at the end of the day, like I'm not a robot. Like sometimes like people like ask me questions all throughout the day, like non-stop. Is this okay? Do I look good here? Oh, what can I do here? I'm not a robot. Like I can't like be there all the time. I wish I could, but I just generally can't. And then I don't know, man, but I feel like having that community and having that, that option to do video calls with people, like sometimes I jump on the group calls and we all have a little chat and I see their faces sometimes, and like some of them are like so like happy to talk, and they're like, oh, I've been following you for ages, like, that's like I love like I can't believe I'm actually having a chance to talk to you. And then in my brain I'm still thinking like, but I'm just like Charlie who grew up in like a small town and then spent a lot of time in London and like moved there, like I'm a nobody. Like why you want to listen to me? At the end of the day, I'm just like that guy that grew up just like you. And at the end of the day, but because they see like you and all the videos you post, they kind of put you on like a pedestal, which I don't like. But if that makes them happy and like I can help them improve their life, then that's great. You know what I mean?
I love the mindset you've got about it too. By like you want to be able to return something, and like I know exactly what you mean when you say like, fuck bro, like I'm just like a nobody. Like I fucking felt that feeling in the last few weeks in my own life, because I've been going and people have asked me to come do their podcasts, and I just know what it's like to host, because I'm the one that wants to meet cunts that I find interest on, you know what I mean? Like it's a comfortable feeling for me, but only in doing like the last 3 or 4 podcasts I've done in real life, like I've been like, I've almost finished the end of them being like, why the fuck are people like, why would anyone want me to come be on their podcast? And they might ask questions that are genuinely about the things I'm doing, like the long endeavor of podcast hosts and these type of questions. But that feeling is so resonating when you say it, where I finish them and I'm talking to like the girl I'm with, or call up one of the lads, or even speak to my mum about it after. I'm like, I'm just some fucking tradie, bro. You know?
Yeah.
And that's, I thought my camera died for a second. That's all right. I feel like that's so awesome to put out there as information, because it lets other people know that they're literally just like everyone else making content. All it takes is to press record and press post, and you're now one of these people that you look up to online.
Exactly, yeah. And like, once you meet a lot of these people who you look up to and talk to them, you really realize like they're just like you as well at the end of the day, and they're just like normal people, and no one should be put on a pedestal, especially like celebrities. But they do these days, which is a shame, because like, I don't know, like, you just shouldn't put anyone on a pedestal. They're all just normal people.
Yeah.
And even when you talk to them, they're just normal people too, you know what I mean? Like, they're like, why are you talking to me different as if you talk to someone else, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we're all the same. We're all just humans. Right. We still need water to survive. We still need to eat. Yeah. We still need to, like, have the basic essentials. No one's different, you know?
Yeah, everyone's dealing with the same emotions, bro. Everyone's suffering, everyone's overcoming. Like, everyone's doing exactly the same thing. Like, the problems that we experience are actually probably the same problems that everyone above or below us experience, you know what I mean? Everyone's just trying to find ways to deal with their problems, whatever your problems may be. I find that since I started, like, I originally had this goal of, I can't wait to interview this guy. I love listening to this guy's music, or, you know, I watch this guy on TV. I want to get this guy on, But the more I do it, I'm just like, bro, everyone's the same. Everyone's just the sick cunt that I can learn from and have a good conversation with. And the people that I put on pedestals before are actually no different than my mates now. They're no different. Everyone's the same.
Yeah, that's it.
It's such a good feeling. So who do you look at for people to find the most inspiration from? You know, what type of individuals do you consume content from? Whether it be... doesn't just have to be superstars, like as in like famous musicians or football players or things like that, but like business owners or YouTube creators?
I don't know. Well, my biggest role model in life is just my family, my dad and my nan, two biggest role models. But aside from them, I would say I look up to guys like Alex Costa, who's in my niche, right? And like, I film a lot of videos for his brand Forte series. The way he just works and just how... he speaks to the camera and his video ideas and just like everything about that he's done, I really like. Him, Jose Zuniga is another guy. You might not know these guys, but
I'm not sure, but I'm gonna look them up.
They're guys in like that sort of men's grooming fashion niche. I really look up to, because they've been there and done that, and they just do a great job at it. And I just look up to them and be like, one day I want to have a page like theirs, because they're inspiring today's world and the youth of today to become better. And at the end of the day, these type of guys is what I want to be like. You know, I don't want to be the guy that's not inspiring anyone. I want to be the guy that's there to help other people. And I just feel like those type of guys are just doing the right thing.
Yeah. I find the purpose is something that a lot of people are looking for in life. Would you say that that's at the moment what you say your purpose would be?
Yeah, I would say like, yeah, I've got a pretty strong purpose with that. And like, that's what I want to do and that's what I will do. You know, it might take a lot of hard work to get there, but I feel like it's going to be there, you know, at the end.
Yeah. What about what's next? What are you looking for futuristically? You know, is it things that you want to either improve within the businesses and endeavors you're doing, or is it things you want to add addition to? What are you kind of looking for to take the next leaps?
Yeah, so the next leap is just obviously to continue to grow my community, my following, expand my business, take it like more worldwide and grow that, which obviously I'm just doing small things at a time to get there. Overall, I just want to like have like everyone else, a family eventually, be married with kids. Yeah. But just to have a situation where my kids don't have to stress about anything. And definitely like when I get to that stage of life, which I've probably got a few years yet, but when I get there, I don't want my kids to like be the type where they've got like everything and they don't need to work. I'm still going to make them work. Yeah. But they're going to be at work. They're going to be hustling. Yeah. But I just want them to know that, you know, they're safe, right? They've got like that background.
What about, and I'm sorry, I apologize for everyone listening. The camera died. People who listen know that happens every now and then. But you're saying you want to try and expand your business and take it overseas, and that's something you're trying to do. What does that kind of look like? And how do you at the moment try and grow the business that you're doing?
Yeah, so basically, like I said before, when you see things doing a certain way and they're, you know, achieving and getting results, you just keep going down that way, man. You just double down on that thing. I see it going a certain way with like the women's stuff, just doubling down on it, using the right people, and that's another key aspect of business is like your image. So like if you're using the wrong people who have like a bad reputation, at the end of the day, it's not going to do good for your brand. Like G'd Up do a great job of it in Sydney. They use like massive people in the UK, right? And it's huge in the UK and huge in Western Sydney especially. But you've got like guys like Nems, who's a rapper in the UK. I don't know if you've heard of him.
No, I
But
don't
he's
even know.
huge, man. Like that guy's like crazy. He's like humming up to be like one of the next Central C's.
Yeah,
And
man.
bro, he's killing it. And he did like a TikTok video wearing G'd Up
Yeah.
in the UK. And there's so many other rappers out there and they're just using like the right people to grow their brand, like people who other guys look up to.
Yeah.
So people are like, oh, they're wearing that brand, I want to wear it too, you know? And like, I just like their stuff, man. I like you said you like G'd Up.
Yeah.
I see them as a big inspiration as well because I look at their marketing, man. I just think
Yeah.
it's just fucking smart. Like they're so clever. Like the way they just work is unbelievable. Like I see their photo shoots they do and I really, as a business owner myself, I see like their vision and I'm like, man, these guys, they're clever. They know
Yeah.
exactly what they're doing, you know?
It's crazy what niches you find yourself becoming interested in. Like in the beginning, I was interested in G'd Up because of the fact that it was cultural and it was something that you know, looked cool and kind of fit the scene, especially when the scene first started to be invented in the first place in Australian culture. Like the SJ scene's the easiest way to describe it. But since being involved in trying to grow business and making content, things like that, now the thing I love about G'd Up is the same thing, the marketing strategies. It's the fucking... It's creating the culture instead of being a part of culture, and it's intentionally creating culture.
Yeah.
Like that's such a massive miss when it comes to anyone who wants to start a business, especially a bit later on in life. You know, if people don't make that risk until they're like 40, they might miss the wave, bro. Everyone knows their parents don't have a fucking clue what's going on social media nowadays. Like, so it is important to take these risks, you know, as a young individual like ourselves. Oh, fuck, I had that point and I lost it again, can't. Okay.
That happens.
I remember what it is now. So you mentioned just as well when I mentioned the future relationship with wife and kids and things that you're looking forward to in the future. Is it something that you're currently looking for now or is it something that you're not interested in looking for, like serious long-term marriage commitment?
There's no rush really. Like, yeah, I'm happy just to set up my own life and make myself successful and like get to a point where I want to be before I like rush into anything. And yeah, like at the end of the day, like this is something you just don't really plan, happens or it doesn't. And like, it's definitely something I don't want to rush, you know?
Yeah.
I want to find like the right time, the right place and that's it really. I don't really have that family mindset and that background of like, I know a lot of ethnics in Australia, they have the thing, especially like Lebanese and Greeks and Italians, you know, they want you like married at like 21, you know? Kids and marriage at 21. My family aren't really like that. They don't really like put pressure on me like that. So yeah, I just don't have a time frame. If it happens, it happens and that's it.
Yeah, that's sick. I find that I rush into it all the time. I go through waves of every year or so. It's like, oh shit, I need to fucking find a missus now. And then I just date a girl. And honestly, man, I want to know how you think, but I don't know if I have the time at all to have a missus and to set up that family and start having kids and to have, like, there's been definitely periods in my life where I thought I was ready for it, but the more that I want to try and climb this world, you know, it is a competition at the end of the day. If we don't start our business today and we wait till tomorrow, someone else will, and they've taken our spot.
That's it.
If for the type of people who want to start climbing and making moves and advances, you kind of have to, you might have to pick one or the other. I don't know if you can necessarily juggle one. Maybe some girls can do it, but from my experience, it's pick one or the other, you know?
Yeah, that's it. And like, unless she really trusts the process, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, like if she really believes in you and she'll follow you and stick with you, then yeah, she might. But the problem is, which I found in the past, is that it's sacrifice, right? And like if you're either doing one or the other, if you try to do both, it doesn't always work out because basically you're not putting effort into one thing, the other thing kind of fails, right?
Yeah.
And that's not what you want. You have to put all effort into what you want, and it's tough, man. It's just not easy. And that's the whole thing with like working full time as well. Working full time, doing content, having a relationship and doing like all these other things. It's just super difficult. And people don't really see that side of it, right? They just see the guy that like stands in front of the camera and talks. What about his actual life? Like what about like, you know, his everyday life? And, you know, like he's also working just as hard as you. if not maybe harder. So, you know, they should put more respect on that. And I do respect other people that have like things like this podcast and like do content creation and put a lot of effort into it, like yourself. Like, because at the end of the day, you're doing this not because you're making like a fortune from it or anything from it, you know? You're just doing it because you have a passion for it. You like talking and you like meeting new people. And you also have a full-time job. So it's just like, have some respect for the guy, you know? Like, geez, man, like he's doing all this and he's still going to work and he's still doing all this, right?
Oh, dude, my props go to you as well. You know what I mean? Like, it's just even it doesn't. Sorry, stumbled that. Even if it doesn't take away necessarily physical time, as in like labor sometimes, like where it comes to having a full-time job, but just the thought you have to put into things like marketing, growing a business, and the reinvestments, and then the content. Like, I know personally what that takes. So like, my props go to you as well, bro. Like, you're wearing many hats at the same time.
Yeah.
And I find that in a relationship, it doesn't matter if a girl's down for the cause or enjoys the ride or sees the potential in general. Like, realistically, there isn't much time left to be able to give someone who is worth the time you want to give them. There just isn't, bro. Like, you kind of have to become the individual first and then take a step back and offload tasks onto people and have more, you know, employees. Like, you're delegating tasks. Great step, bro. Great step. The more you can start delegate tasks, the more freedom you can start to open up to more adventures, you know what I mean? But it's just that offloading period that I feel like for a lot of people, it's definitely the hardest thing to do.
Super hard. I mean, like, the best thing you can really do is if you do get to a point is that you employ people and help you to get to where you want to be. Like, obviously you might be sacrificing a bit of your chunk of your pie to give to someone else, but you'll be able to have a bigger pie. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, you can have a small pie and you can have it all to yourself, or you can take chunks out of it to feed other people, like the editor, like the PA, but grow the pie and just have a bigger pie. You know what I mean? And that's the way I kind of think of it. And I know that's the right way to do it.
It's just an investment, eh? Like, it's just, people look at it differently when it comes to, like, you know, should I spend all my 150,000, however much they've saved up for this deposit on the house? It's like, well, the house is going to make you that money back. It's exactly the same thing as hiring guys. That's why in my businesses I'm trying to start, my first goal is hire cunts, make no money. You know what I mean? That's the first things I'm trying to do, bro. I'm not interested in the money. The money will come later. I need the time in the first place to be able to do so. And I remember a point I was trying to get at before as well, and we're talking about how weird it feels sometimes when people are putting others on pedestals. You know, everyone's just the same type of individual. I've met some really successful people with crazy amounts of fame, not from doing the podcast, from doing things like going and seeing shows and hanging around for VIP, the fucking meet and greets, shit like that. Those guys who have reached that level of fame, that's actually a different caliber of the people that we just watch and follow on these journeys of social media. And through meeting those people, they're robots, bro. Like, the guys that hang around, like, for shows and just, how are you? Nice, get a photo. Yeah, sweet. Dang, next. Yeah. I thought originally that's something I always wanted. And I do enjoy having an audience, people that listen and shit, but there's got to be a ceiling that I'm willing to go to, bro.
Yeah, exactly,
like,
man, yeah.
This guy I'm talking about in particular, he was a fucking robot. Like, I went to go say, man, my props to you. I really enjoy this thing that you've put out. And he's a, shake, bro. He had no fucking idea what I was saying. There was a million people, bro. So do you have a ceiling? Do you enjoy the fame side of things, having people recognize you? And is it something that I like it myself. Yeah. But is it something that you kind of want to keep at a capacity, or?
I just like seeing people's reactions and seeing people's, like, how it impacts them. Like, I've been in the gym a few times and then guys have come up to me like, bro, I've been watching your videos for ages, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I just want to say this has, like, helped me so much, and this and that. And I get, like, taken away. I'm like, you've been watching my videos? Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm like, whoa. And then, you know, I just like having that personal conversation with them and hearing back if it's actually helping. Yeah. And I like that side of it, yeah.
Yeah, it's dope.
But, I don't know, I do see, like, some, like, really, like, for example, I've met, like, some UFC fighters as well. And, they are, like, robots, man. They're just, like... if you talk to them, they're just like, they don't even say anything. They're just in one ear out the other, and they just like just take a photo and that's it.
Yeah, bro. I like it. I like that moment. You know, it's nice to get that photo. It's nice to have that interaction with those guys. But every time I do it, it reminds me, like, bro, the goal is not to get that famous, bro.
Yeah, that's like, like they're so famous that they don't even like care about anyone else's opinion at all. They don't even listen.
Yeah,
and like, that's why, like, when I see like celebrities, or if I never even ask for a photo, I just leave them alone. Like, I just like fuck, it's just, you know.
I do it for the gram, bro. I do it for the gram. Yeah.
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I've met people and like taking a photo. I'm like, oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
But like, I've also like seen people. I'm like, I don't even want to bother them. You know, I don't even want to bother this guy because like he's just gonna not want to talk to me and be like, just another guy who's bothering me, and I just leave him.
Yeah, but the thing I'm getting at too is like that feeling that you get. Like I like that feeling too, where someone recognizes you in public and you get taken away a bit by surprise. That's something I never want to lose. Like, you know, there's guys that like I bump into guys like at the shopping centers, or even there's local guys that I listen to their music that I see around here. Like, and I don't ask for that photo, and that interaction is a genuine moment. Oh, fuck, bro. Really appreciate that. That's sick.
Yeah.
But then there's other guys that I bumped into and they're just like, yeah, sweet. Like, because they've breached that point where they can even be grateful for those moments of fans and things like that, you know? So something that I'm definitely trying to avoid, and I don't know, I don't really have a point on trying to advise it or anything like that, but it's just something for me to look out for, you know, having that community that you've got, something that you're always going to have that grounding, you know?
Yeah, that's it.
True appreciation.
And that's it at the end of the day. And like going back to the whole like time and like spending your time on other important things, like for example, if I did get to a point where I got crazy busy, I would like to like pass the monotonous jobs of like editing and stuff like that onto someone else. So then I can do the more personal stuff, you know, talking to the people, having the calls with the guys that follow me, all these like personal stuff, which like, for example, the editor definitely can't do. Like no one's going to want to talk to them and like stuff like that. Like these other sides of it. So then it frees up my time, because someone really successful told me once that normal people spend their time to make money, whereas smart, rich people spend their money to make time.
Ooh,
and I just learned so much from that, right? Because like, use your money as a tool to have more time. And then when you have that time, use that time to make more money.
Yeah.
So bro, you just
feed
continually
the machine,
growing and growing and growing. And it's not for the small gain. It's for the long-term game, right? Like you're doing this now, you're sacrificing something at the start, spending a bit of money for that long-term game.
Yeah, I love that, bro. That's I'm definitely going to write that down when I go back and edit this video later. There's not too much more time we necessarily have in today's episode. There is a final question that I will ask at the end of it. But on that note, with mental health and the things that you're putting out with self-improvement, that's a big thing when it comes to mental health. I noticed that one of the things in your content is around routine. You know, and you mentioned it to me before, like you try and get everything done in the morning and then go down your steps of, you know, your videos that you want to put out for that day. Do you think a routine is an important thing that a lot of people should implement in their life? Like
100%, yeah, without a doubt. Like routine is essential, because routine builds discipline, and then discipline ultimately gets you to the goal that you want to get to. Personally, I set like a routine of like, I try smash out the videos, the filming on the Monday, so that say I film 10 videos on the Monday, I don't even have to think about filming videos for the rest of the week. Yeah. Because I already did it on Monday. The editor already has it. She's editing me a video for every single day that I can post. Then I'm set for the whole week. And all I did was a few hours on the Monday, right? So that's always in my routine, and that will never change. And then I'll have time to like, you know, go to the gym, which is also really important for me. Do the other things in my life that I need to do, right? So yeah, you definitely need a routine if you want to see results and you want to get somewhere. 100%.
Yeah, definitely. I find that in my own life, it's hard for me to create a routine. It really is. Like everything's pretty demanding. When I am on a routine, that's when things have taken the most growth. You know, it doesn't matter if it's easy examples like gym. Obviously, I get the most gains. I'm going to the gym on an everyday routine, but like consistency when it comes to editing, that starts to improve every day as well. So I try and preach the idea of a routine to people. I'm not very good at implementing it myself, but it also makes a big difference on people's mental health too. You know, when they have a bit of order in their life, they actually do genuinely start to feel better. You know?
Yeah. And like, just to touch on what you just said there, like, I love how like real you are and how you say you try to like suggest routine, but you don't really do that much yourself. Like you're just being real, you know, and that's also something I really want to portray to my guys in the group. Like when we jump on these calls, I told them, even if you watch the first video that I made, that's on like, before you join the group, there's like a welcome video, right? I put in the group, I'm just letting you know, guys, I am not a millionaire. I'm not this guy that everyone else is like saying they are when they're trying to sell you a course or something like this with the Lambo that does this and is in Dubai going crazy. Yeah, I've been on holiday to these places and I've got some nice photos in some nice areas. So it might look like I'm doing really well, But I'm just gonna let you know, like, these are highlights of my life. This isn't everyday reality. I definitely have some down moments like everyone else, and I'm telling you right now, you're gonna know about my down moments as much as I do, and you're gonna learn from them, because I don't want to pretend to be someone that I'm not, and I want to show you that, you know, you can start where I started and you can get to a better place without watching someone's fake course who's like a plastic millionaire who's basically just selling you this because he's pretending he lives this crazy life when he doesn't.
Yeah.
Right. And I just want them to know that I don't live this crazy life. Yeah, I go on holiday, you know, a few times a year, but that's because that's what I like to do and that's what I save my money for, you know. Other people spend their money on clothes and stuff and do these other things. I like to spend my money on holidays. So then it might look like I have a crazy life, but I let them know that, you know, that I'm not like a multi-millionaire. So like, but I also see other people's courses out there and they're selling like the dream, you know?
Yeah.
There's no dream. It's just like...
Yeah, there's no dream, bro. There's just a grind.
It's just a
you know
grind,
what I mean?
yeah.
And the people who are selling courses, they're actually just trying to make their living, you know what I mean? They're actually grinding in the fact they're doing so. So
Yeah.
the way you're taking that route, and I appreciate you noticing that in myself as well, it is the best thing that I think most people on forms of consumption when it comes to content are looking for now. They're looking for honesty.
Yeah.
Everyone's been seeing the waves of the guys who've made it, and you only click follow on someone who you think has already reached a level of success in which you're willing to follow. Most people don't click follow because they want to see someone go through their journey, but we are kind of adopting that mindset now as a society as a whole. Like, people want to know that everyone's relatable, everything's achievable, and being as open and honest with an audience as possible is definitely the thing that people are not just finding most fulfillment in, but people are finding the most resignation with. And that's why people are sticking around for people nowadays.
100%. That's it.
Yeah, it's sick, bro. It's sick.
Yeah.
Look, the last question I have to ask you, and it's a shame I have to ask you because I could honestly just talk to you for hours.
Well,
on
we
it.
could. Yeah, honestly, we could just talk for ages. We'll wrap it up after this one.
Yeah. It's to touch on this mental health thing that I'm always trying to relate and bring to every single episode. So if someone came to you because they were feeling depressed, mostly because they were just lost, what advice would you give to that person?
What advice I'd give? I would just, first of all, I would tell them that they're not alone. Like, there is millions of guys out there that are in the same situation as them, that feel the same way. So they're 100% not alone, right? Then they're going to feel a bit more like, you know, oh, I'm not alone, right? Like, other people are on this journey with me. And I would just tell them that what situation they're in right now is just temporary. And I just know this from my own experience, and everyone's experienced this, right? You go through bad times, you go through good times. If you go through this right now, you'll see the light at the end of the tunnel and you're going to see an improvement. You're at rock bottom right now, but it can't get any worse and it's going to go up, right? So, and that's just what I would repeat to them because I know it's true. And like, I don't want to bullshit them. I just want to tell them that they're in a rough time right now, but this is rock bottom and it can only go up.
Yeah, damn, I couldn't have answered that any better myself, bro. Honestly, it's so powerful, and it's only experience that could lead you to that answer. You know, it's overcoming as you're trying to explain to someone who's going through it. But when you're going through it, especially with your first couple of times, you don't understand that, like, everyone knows what this feels like, and this is only temporary. So it's two most important things to preach to someone.
100%. And like, everyone's gone through like a breakup. Everyone's gone through like losing their job, losing maybe someone in their family. Like, they're not the only one. Like, everyone has done this. It's happened to 7 billion people in the world. So yeah, pretty much that's all I can say is that they're not alone.
Yeah, I like to think about it like everyone's taken turns of experiencing the same emotion. Everyone's going to have the same story at the end if you jumble everything up and put them in different orders. But the beauty is the fact that we actually get to do it at different times. And when we have gone through our moments of suffering, we can now be there for someone who's going through theirs, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, it's sick. Well, dude, honestly, I would love to do a part 2 to this episode in the future, all right? I'm keen to see the endeavors you go down. This group that you're in with Skool is something that I might even join to become a part of, just for the fact of, like, I genuinely feel I've gained information just by sitting and talking to you in the first place. So you got yourself another member.
Hey, welcome to the squad.
Yeah. I'll definitely put a link for all my mates who are interested, who follow my podcast for the journey as well, for anything that you're doing. Everything I've seen on your YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, this Skool community you got going. I'll put a link for everything as well. And yeah, I could not thank you for a better episode, dude. I appreciate it a lot.
Perfect. I really appreciate it. Honestly, it was actually a great chat. Like,
yeah,
I just felt like we actually had a mad conversation.
Yeah, right, bro.
It was really good.
Podcasting's the best, bro. You get therapy once a week.
That's once a week free therapy.
Yeah.
Jeez, it's the best.
Yeah.
But honestly, man, I really appreciate it. and it was just sick chatting.
Yeah, gang. Well, for everyone who's listened as well, I appreciate you for coming along for this episode. There'll be another amazing week this week. There'll be another week next week, and that's it.
Shawty gets a ride, yeah, I had to put her on. Bought her 2 seater, yeah, we heading for the sun. Shawty got one